Imagine reaching the age of 70, a milestone that marks not just the passage of time, but the quiet transformation of the human body and mind. It's a threshold where the familiar rhythm of life begins to shift in ways we often ignore until they touch us directly. Science tells us that certain changes are inevitable, subtle yet profound, shaping our daily experiences, our health, and even our sense of self. One of the first things you notice is the way your body's resilience changes. Muscle mass and strength gradually decline, a process called sarcopenia. It's not just about aesthetics or physical ability. It's about the energy your cells can produce, the stability of your skeleton, and the silent, relentless conversation between your bones and muscles. You realize that the effort it takes to move, to rise from a chair, to climb stairs, is no longer trivial, but a reflection of microscopic shifts deep within. As we cross into the 7th decade of life, one of the most tangible and inevitable changes we encounter is the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength, a phenomenon scientists call sarcopenia. Unlike sudden injuries or acute illnesses, this shift is subtle, unfolding over years and often escaping notice until it begins to affect daily movement. Muscles, which once responded effortlessly to every command, now require more conscious effort to contract, to lift, to stabilize, to carry. The loss is not just about size or appearance. It reflects profound cellular and molecular changes deep within our bodies. Muscle fibers shrink, protein synthesis slows, and the regenerative capacity of stem cells diminishes, reducing the ability to repair microtears that naturally occur with movement. Tendons and ligaments, the silent connectors that transmit force, lose elasticity, altering the mechanics of motion and subtly changing posture and balance. These shifts are accompanied by changes in metabolism. Muscles are not only engines for movement but also central hubs for energy regulation, glucose uptake, and fat oxidation. As muscle tissue diminishes, the body's ability to manage energy efficiently declines, influencing weight distribution, insulin sensitivity, and overall vitality. What was once effortless standing from a chair, climbing stairs, reaching overhead, now requires more attention, more deliberate effort, and occasionally the aid of supportive tools. Even the nervous system adapts. Motor units, which coordinate muscle contractions, decrease in number, meaning that precision and strength must be recalibrated. Yet within these challenges lies opportunity. Physical activity, even in its gentlest forms, stimulates protein synthesis, encourages new capillary growth within muscles, and maintains neuromuscular connections that preserve coordination. Resistance training, balance exercises, and daily movement routines are not just lifestyle suggestions, they are interventions that communicate directly with the body's cells, reminding them to maintain function. Nutrition, too, plays a crucial role. Adequate protein intake, essential amino acids, and nutrients that support mitochondrial health and reduce oxidative stress provide the cellular machinery with the resources to slow the rate of decline. What is fascinating is the body's capacity for adaptation. Even after decades, muscles respond to stimulus, reorganize, and regain some lost strength. This process is not rapid, nor is it guaranteed to restore what has been lost entirely. But it demonstrates that aging does not equate to helplessness. Each movement, each deliberate act of engagement, tells the body that it remains relevant, capable, and alive. Beyond the biological implications, there is a psychological dimension. Awareness of diminishing strength can trigger reflection on independence, lifestyle, and identity. It can inspire more mindful movement, a deliberate approach to daily life that honors the body's limits while gently challenging them. In many ways, The loss of muscle mass is a dialogue between time and the body, a constant, measurable transformation that reminds us of the fragility and resilience intertwined within our physical selves. Understanding the science behind sarcopenia allows us to interpret these changes, not as an arbitrary decline but as a natural evolution, a shifting landscape that calls for intentional action and compassionate attention. As we enter our 70s, one of the most profound yet often overlooked changes occurs within the brain, a remarkable organ that has guided our experiences, decisions, and memories for decades. Cognitive shifts are subtle, creeping into daily life in ways that are easy to dismiss at first, a momentary lapse in recall, the need to read a passage twice, a slower reaction to an unfamiliar situation. These changes are not random. They reflect structural and chemical adaptations within the nervous system. Neurons, the primary cells responsible for transmitting signals, gradually lose some of their connections, and the efficiency of synaptic communication declines. Neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers of thought and emotion, are produced in slightly smaller quantities or are cleared more slowly, altering the speed and clarity with which information flows. Processing new information takes longer, multitasking becomes more challenging, and retrieving memories that once seemed effortless may require deliberate focus. Yet these changes do not equate to a complete loss of capacity. The brain remains remarkably plastic, capable of forming new connections, reorganizing networks, and compensating for weakened pathways. Activities that challenge the mind, such as learning a new skill, engaging in meaningful conversation, or solving complex problems, stimulate neurogenesis and strengthen existing circuits. Attention and focus may require more conscious effort, but deliberate engagement keeps the mind active and adaptable. Emotional intelligence, wisdom, and experiential knowledge often increase, compensating for slower processing speeds and providing a depth of insight that younger brains have yet to cultivate. Even in the face of declining short-term memory, the ability to synthesize experiences, anticipate outcomes, and make nuanced judgments can become more refined. Sleep patterns also shift, influencing cognitive performance. Deep, restorative sleep may become less frequent, affecting memory consolidation and emotional regulation. Nutrition, hydration, and gentle physical activity directly impact brain health, supporting blood flow, oxygen delivery, and nutrient availability for neurons. Chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and vascular changes all subtly influence cognition, reminding us that the mind is inseparable from the body. Social engagement provides another critical layer of support. Interaction with others, sharing ideas, and maintaining meaningful relationships stimulate brain regions responsible for language, empathy, and memory, reinforcing neural networks and helping preserve mental agility. While science documents a natural slowing of certain cognitive processes, it also highlights the capacity for adaptation, resilience, and growth. Learning does not cease, creativity does not fade, and problem-solving continues to be accessible when approached with patience and intention. The brain's journey through the seventh decade is a complex interplay of loss and compensation, of vulnerability and remarkable adaptability, requiring attention, care, and curiosity. This evolving landscape challenges assumptions about aging and intelligence, inviting reflection on how knowledge, experience, and intentional activity shape cognitive health over time. Understanding these changes through the lens of science allows us to approach aging not as an inexorable decline but as a dynamic, ongoing process in which the mind continues to participate fully, reshaping itself in response to lifestyle, environment, and conscious engagement. As we move into our 70s, the cardiovascular system undergoes changes that are subtle but deeply influential on overall health. Blood vessels gradually lose elasticity, a process called arterial stiffening, which means the heart must work slightly harder to pump blood through the body. Over time, this can raise blood pressure and increase the strain on the heart. Even in those who have maintained a generally healthy lifestyle, the heart itself may lose a fraction of its maximal pumping efficiency, and the rhythm of contractions can become less precise, affecting circulation to organs and tissues that rely on consistent blood flow. Tiny changes in the structure of the arteries, the accumulation of collagen, and the gradual thickening of vessel walls contribute to this shift, altering how oxygen and nutrients are delivered to cells. While these processes are natural and expected, they can be influenced positively by lifestyle choices such as regular physical activity, cardiovascular exercises that maintain heart strength, and dietary patterns that support vascular health. Nutrition plays a critical role, as diets rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and key minerals help reduce oxidative stress and maintain endothelial function, the lining of blood vessels responsible for regulating blood flow and pressure. Even small adjustments, like incorporating moderate exercise, walking daily, or managing stress, can have measurable effects on heart performance and vascular resilience. Understanding these changes offers not just practical guidance but perspective. The body communicates through measurable shifts, and responding to them with care can maintain vitality and independence. The heart, in its quiet persistence, demonstrates both the inevitability of aging and the capacity for adaptation, revealing that even at 70, intentional habits can sustain strength, resilience, and a rhythm that continues to support every part of the body. As we enter our 70s, the immune system undergoes subtle yet significant changes that affect how the body responds to illness, injury, and daily stress. The efficiency of immune cells gradually declines, making it more difficult to mount a rapid response to infections or heal quickly from minor injuries. At the same time, a persistent, low-grade inflammation often develops, sometimes called which can quietly affect organs and tissues throughout the body. This paradox: less agility in defense but higher baseline inflammation creates a delicate balance that influences overall health. Vaccinations may be slightly less effective, and the risk of prolonged infections or slower recovery increases, highlighting the importance of preventive care and awareness of early symptoms. Nutrition, sleep, and regular physical activity become critical tools for supporting immune resilience, providing cells with the energy and nutrients necessary to maintain function. Antioxidants and anti-nutrients help mitigate the effects of oxidative stress, which accumulates naturally with age, while gentle movement stimulates circulation, ensuring immune cells can reach tissues efficiently. Stress management also plays an essential role, as chronic psychological stress can exacerbate inflammation and weaken immune responses. Even small daily habits, light resistance exercises, balanced meals, hydration, and sufficient rest communicate to the body that its defenses are still valued and reinforced. Understanding the shifts in immunity encourages a proactive mindset, where aging is not passively endured but actively managed through thoughtful care. The immune system, though slower and more vulnerable than in earlier decades, retains remarkable adaptability and responsiveness when supported, reminding us that even in later life, deliberate attention to lifestyle choices profoundly influences health, resilience, and the body's ongoing capacity to defend and repair itself. As we cross into our 70s, the senses that connect us to the world — sight, hearing, taste, touch, and even smell begin to shift in ways that are gradual but profoundly influential. Vision often changes first, with the lens of the eye losing flexibility and clarity, making it more difficult to focus on close objects or perceive fine details. Colors may appear less vivid, and contrast sensitivity can decline, subtly altering how we interpret the environment. Hearing, too, diminishes, particularly for higher frequencies, making conversations in noisy settings more challenging and reducing the richness of sound that surrounds daily life. Taste and smell become less acute, which can affect appetite, dietary choices, and even emotional memory, since scent and flavor are closely linked to experiences and personal history. Touch and proprioception, awareness of the body's position in space can also decline, impacting balance, coordination, and the perception of pressure or temperature. These sensory changes are not merely inconveniences, they shape how we navigate the world, interact with others, and maintain independence. Scientific studies show that the gradual loss of sensory input can influence cognitive processing and emotional well-being, as the brain compensates for diminished data streams by altering perception and attention. Yet, the senses remain adaptable. Regular eye and hearing care, environments enriched with sensory stimulation, mindful attention to texture, flavor, and movement, and practices like gentle exercise or tactile engagement can help maintain sensory function and neural responsiveness. Awareness of these changes invites reflection on the fragility and resilience of perception, emphasizing that the way we experience the world is inseparable from the health of our sensory systems. Even as some acuity fades, intentional attention to the senses, combined with adaptive strategies, allows for continued engagement, curiosity, and connection with the environment, demonstrating that sensory evolution is both inevitable and manageable through conscious, compassionate care.